22. We believe we have solved the AV issues so that those that are participating via Zoom can be heard in the meeting room at Town Hall through the speaker system. And the outgoing audio is being connected to Zoom through the audio system also. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag,
United
States of
States of America,
and to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Van Cleek.
Here.
Councilman Secreto. Here. Councilman Kitchen.
Here.
Councilwoman Hayner.
Here.
Supervisor Quigley.
Present. Thank you very much. Our first matter of business tonight is the organizing resolution that will be read into the record by Town of Ulster Town Clerk Suzanne Reavy.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Ulster convened an organizational meeting for the year 2022 on January 6th, 2022 via Zoom. And whereas the town is required by town law to make certain designations and appointments, establish salaries, paydays, schedule meetings, and determine certain other matters. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board makes the following designations: depositories for town funds, Bank of Greene County, JP Morgan Chase; official newspapers, the Daily and Sunday Freeman, Kingston Times; paydays, elected and appointed employees monthly, part-time employees biweekly, full-time employees biweekly. Number 4, salaries of elected officials. Supervisor, $50,250. Deputy supervisor, $1,500. Town clerk, $56,225. Town justice, 2 each, $46,854. Council members, 4 each, $10,400. Superintendent of highways, $82,784. Number 5, appointments. Secretary to the supervisor, Peggy King. Deputy supervisor, Clayton Van Cleek. Attorney to the Town of Ulster and Special Prosecutor, Jason J. Kovacs, Esquire. Assistant Special Prosecutors, Lauren Swan, Esquire, Matthew Jankowski, Esquire, and David Googe, Esquire. Special Attorney to the Town, Rebecca Maloris Lettra, Esquire. Bond Counsel, Thomas E. Myers, Esquire of Orrick, Harrington, and Sutcliffe, LLP. Pilot Counsel, John N. Vaginellis, Esquire of Mazosha and Vaginellis, PC. Financial Advisor, Michael J. Laguerico of Munistat Services, Incorporated. Director of Recreation and Confidential Bookkeeper are both vacant. Registrar of Vital Statistics, Suzanne Reavy. Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics, Lauren Hummel. FOIL Officer, Suzanne Reavy. Handicapped Parking Permit Issuing Agent, Suzanne Reavy. Deputy Town Clerk, Lauren Hummel. Clerk to Justice Weiss, Marissa Martino. Clerk to Justice Kessick, Karen Gorski. Building Inspector, Warren Tutt. Ulster County Planning Board Member, Frank Almquist. Anna Hayner, alternate. Ulster County Transportation Council, John Morrow, voting member by delegation. Assistant Superintendent of Water, Ryan Weishaupt. Assistant Superintendent of Wastewater Treatment, Josh Brink. Deputy Superintendent of Highways, Charles Freer. Number 6, Town Board. Workshop meetings first Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. Regular monthly meetings third Thursday of each month, 7 p.m. Town Board agenda. The Tuesday prior to the meeting at 4 p.m. is the deadline for submitting agenda items. Number 8, mileage. Mileage will be reimbursed at the rate of federal mileage rate of 0.585 cents per mile or as adjusted by the IRS for use of personal vehicle for town business. Number 9, legal holidays. New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Good Friday, Memorial and Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus, Election and Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, Friday after Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. Number 10, work days. Monday through Friday, or per negotiated contracts. Number 11, vacation. As per negotiated contracts, all non-union employees per town code. 12, insurance buyout. Appointed officials and non-union employees, $1,000 per year. All others per negotiated contracts. Elected officials are not eligible for the insurance buyout. Number 13, petty cash. Supervisor and town clerk, $100. Tax collector and water department cash drawer, $150. Court, $100. Assessor, building department and Ryder Park, $50. Highway department, $100. Whittier sewer, $25. Sewer department, $50. Water department, $75. 14, highway budget, $3,241,022. Appointment of town planner, David, we're doing that all together, right? David Church, AICP. Number 16, planning board meeting, second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, second Wednesday of each month, 7 p.m. Number 18, police matters meeting, first Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. Number 19, all authority for the daily operations of the town and its district is hereby delegated to Town Supervisor James Jim E. Quigley III per Town Law Section 2916.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the resolution read into the record. May I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilman Secreto, second by
I'll second that.
Anna. Ms. Hayner, please call a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to the various committees for the town of Ulster. We have tonight the first one being the planning board. Please proceed on current appointments.
Planning board members. Current appointments, Rory Lee, term ending 2025. Councilman Van Cleek.
Yes.
Do a motion?
No, motion to appoint Rory Lee.
I
Yeah.
make that.
May I have a motion to appoint Rory Lee to the planning board?
I'll second it.
I've got Ms. Hayner and Mr. Kitchen. Please call the roll call vote.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Next,
Appointment to the planning board, Frank Almquist, a term expiring 2026.
may I have a motion to appoint Frank on?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
As to alternates on the planning board, please.
Alternates to town planning board for a one-year term, John Stowell and John Morrow.
May I have a motion on the alternates?
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. As to the chairman of the planning board,
Chairman of the Planning Board, Jeffrey Ring.
may I have a motion on Chairman Ring?
So moved.
We have
I'll-
Councilman Fredo and Councilman Kitchen. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, moving on to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the new members.
Zoning Board, new members, appointment of Kevin Reginato, term ending 2026.
May I have a motion? Councilman Secreto makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Van Cleek has a second. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes, thank you. On the appointment of the chair of the zoning board,
Chair of Zoning Board, Kevin Renato.
may I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
I have a Councilwoman Hayner making the motion, Councilman Secreto making the second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to the Assessment Board of Review, there are two candidates to be proposed, each with a different term, so we will need individual votes.
Appointment of Ryan Van Cleek, term ending September 30th, 2027.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you.
Appointment of Margie Stickles, term ending September 30th, 2026.
I have Councilman Secreto making a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Kitchen makes a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The following items will be voted in individually as a group. Please proceed.
Town Historian Robert Sweeney,
Have a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May I have roll call, please?
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Moving to the police matters.
Police Matters members, Town Board.
May I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, on to the Recreation Committee as a group.
Recreation Committee members, John Niles, Steve Hack, Marguerite Kochel, Suzanne Reevy, Lauren Hummel.
May I have a motion, please? Councilman Secreto made the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a Councilman Kitchen making a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. On to the Economic Development Committee.
Economic Development, Michael Berardi, Patrick Sheehan, and John Stowell.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Secreto. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Kitchen, roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, moving on to the Board of Ethics.
Board of Ethics, Clayton Van Cleek, Chairman, Brian Ilgner, John Ionati.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Councilwoman
Second.
Hayner, may I have a second?
Second.
I got a second from Councilman Secreto. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yeah. Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. As to the Association of Towns annual meeting, the town of Ulster is required to set a delegate and an alternate delegate to vote on matters of the association at the annual meeting in February in New York City. At the present time, it's undetermined whether the meeting will be held in person, but we are required to file a certificate of nomination with the association. So please proceed.
Association of Towns Annual Meeting, Delegate Suzanne Reevy, and alternate delegate Clayton Van Cleek.
May I have a motion? I have a councilman making a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Kitchens made a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek.
Of course.
Thank you. Councilman Secreto. Councilman Kitchen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner.
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, and moving on to committee assignments for the town board members. We'll take each committee individually.
Okay. Parks and Recreation, Rocco Secreto, Chairman, Eric Kitchen, Member.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you.
For Finance, Clayton Van Cleek, Chairman, Anna Hayner, Member.
Councilman Secreto makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Van Cleek, second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you.
For Buildings and Grounds, Eric Kitchen, Chairman, Anna Hayner, Member.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilman Kitchen. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second from Councilman Secreto here. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you.
And for Personnel, Rocco Secreto, Chairman, Clayton Van Cleek, Member.
May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilwoman Hayner, may I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Van Cleek, second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes. Yes.
Woman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Please note that in accordance with the bylaws of the town of Ulster, the supervisor is an ex officio member of all these committees. Moving on to the individual resolutions that will govern how the town is operated during the year. The first resolution is a standing resolution regarding the authorization of overtime pay to town employees. It is presented on an annual basis and requires the department heads to authorize, or the supervisor to authorize, any overtime incurred by the employees. So may I have a motion to accept the resolution? I have a Councilman Secreto's making the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilman Kitchen. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes. The next matter is the policy regarding the adoption of local laws. This policy establishes the protocol that the town board will follow in introducing legislation. That being said, we will introduce the legislation at meeting 1, 2 weeks hence. After publication of the legislation on the town's website, we will call for a public hearing at the subsequent meeting, which is meeting 3. At the conclusion of meeting 3, which will be the public hearing, we will hold the public hearing open for 30 days to accept additional public comment, and no vote will be called until that time has passed. The earliest that the local law can be voted on by the town board is at the expiration of those 30 days. The policy also states that any law that has sat dormant for a period of, I believe, 120 days shall be considered dead and shall be required to be reintroduced. So may I have a motion accepting the policy on adoption of local laws?
So moved.
Second that.
I have a second from Councilwoman Hayner. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item is a resolution adopting rules of conduct for town board meetings and public hearings per town law, section 63. This is a section of the town code that, or the state law in the town law section, that gives the town board the right to establish the rules of conduct at public meetings. We want to maintain an orderly meeting, give everyone the opportunity to have their points heard in an orderly, non-confrontational manner. So may I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented? I have Councilman Secreto on the motion. Second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Van Cleek. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next resolution authorizes the town supervisor to submit to the town clerk a copy of the report to the state controllers, which is required by General Municipal Law 30. The town supervisor, as the chief financial officer of the town, is required to make an accounting of all financial transactions that the town undertakes in the previous year to the town board by 30 days after the end of the fiscal year. This period of time can be extended under General Municipal Law 30 by substituting the report that the town supervisor is to provide to the town board with the copy of the report that the town supervisor files with an outside agency. In this manner, it is the state controller's report. May I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Councilman Fredo, and I have a second by Councilman Van Cleek. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next resolution authorizes the supervisor to sign checks using a facsimile signature for payroll. Please pass this one. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Secretary makes the motion to save my left hand. Do I have a second? Councilwoman Hayner, roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
He's muted.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Gentlemen, in the package is the procurement policy for 2022. This establishes the rules under which we'll purchase goods and services for use in the town during the current year. It sets forth the limitations by dollar and by title as to who is required to follow said policy. May I have a motion to accept the procurement policy?
So moved.
Councilman Kitchen, may I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Secreto on a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item on the agenda is an investment policy. New York State municipal law requires restrictions on the types of investments that the local municipality can make. The investment policy for the town of Ulster memorializes the restrictions that we believe are prudent for our community. May I have a motion to adopt the investment policy for 2022?
So moved. Second.
Roll, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item is the presentation of the FOIL policy for 2022. New York State has an open meetings and FOIL policy law. And the FOIL policy included in this package is the town of Ulster's policy for meeting the requirements of the state law. May I have a motion to accept the FOIL policy? Councilman Secreto, may I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Kitchen, roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item is a fund balance policy. It came to my attention about a half hour before the meeting that there were written comments submitted to the town board for this. I'm going to defer voting on the fund balance policy until we have an opportunity to consider the comments. The next item in our agenda is a records management policy for 2022. It is determined that it is by best practices out of state archives that the town established a written records management policy with rules for records retention and how we're going to handle matters. And that has been put together by our town clerk, Suzanne Reavy. So I set forth here tonight the records retention management policy in the package and ask for a motion to accept said policy.
So moved.
I have a Councilman Secreto and a second by Councilman Kitchen. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the organizational meeting for the Town of Ulster Town Board for the year 2022. We have held this meeting on a scheduled town workshop meeting night. So we will move to the town's workshop agenda. Before I start, our normal agenda form has a standing format at the top of the page. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda from the town board members?
No.
Hear none. Ms. Ruby, are there any communications you wish to report to the board?
I have one communication received via email to Town Supervisor Quigley regarding a town assessment positions. In the last 2 weeks, Judge Christopher K. Received Monday, January 3rd, 2022 via email. In the past 2 weeks, Judge Christopher Cahill heard decisions on tax cert matters litigated by the Town of Ulster. Both cases, the town assessment positions were upheld. One was the matter of Tech City, and another was the matter of the Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union.
Thank you. Any additional communications?
That concludes communications.
Thank you. It is normal for us to open the floor to public comment on any item that appears on the agenda. We have limited public audience tonight. Are there any matters on the agenda you wish to comment on? I see no. Are there any members on Zoom of the public that wish to comment on any matters that are on our agenda tonight? Ms. Hartman, please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Good evening. Happy New Year to everybody. I have a question for what the organizational meeting. Is that okay to ask at this point in time, or should I wait till the end of the meeting?
Oh, you can ask it.
I would just like to ask the board to consider the next appointments for the ethics board, that there be at least one female on that board, so that it is representative of the population. If there's ever an accusation of sexual harassment or anything of that nature, a woman is going to have a very difficult time speaking to 3 men. So I would just ask that you consider that for the next time that you make appointments to the Board of Ethics.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any additional public comment from the Zoom audience? Okay, moving on to new business. In December, the Town of Ulster's 2022 fee schedule was presented for public comment, was circulated amongst the town departments, and tonight we are presenting a resolution adopting the modified fee schedule as was modified by suggestions from the department heads during the month of December. May I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented? Councilman Secreto, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Hayner, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next resolution is a matter of housekeeping. The Town of Ulster is required to appoint a delegate and an alternate delegate to the Ulster County Planning Board. We are required to do this by resolution and then submit said resolution to the Ulster County Legislature for ratification. Tonight, again, repeating last year's, I would ask for a motion appointing Frank Almquist and Councilwoman Anna Hayner to the Ulster County Planning Board as delegate and alternate delegate. May I have a motion? Councilman Kitchen, may I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Secreto, seconds. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item is a resolution to authorize the interfund loan and interfund loan from the general fund landfill closure account to the Halcyon Park potable water storage capital project for up to the amount of $400,000. This is required as working capital. We are required to pay the contractors as the work is conducted and then seek reimbursement under the grant from the Environmental Facilities Corporation. So we have two choices. We can go to the public markets and borrow said funds, which would end up incurring bond counsel opinion costs along with interest, or we can borrow it internally from our other sources of investment capital. Putting forth a resolution asking for an authorization of an interfund loan. I'd ask for a motion to accept the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Councilman Van Cleek, may I have a second? Councilman Secreto seconds. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. During the month of November, the primary contractor, Statewide Aquastore, completed approximately $195,000 worth of work at the Halcyon Park Water Storage Tank Project. There is a motion in here to authorize the supervisor to make the payment to Statewide Aquastore in the amount of $194,709.15 for payment application number 3 for contract TU 211, replacement of the potable water storage tank in Halcyon Park. May I have a motion to authorize the payment?
I make that motion.
Councilman Hayner, seconded by Councilman Secreto. May I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. In 2016, the town of Ulster pursued an action against the Eddyville Corporation under the town's building codes for the cleanup of abandoned boats at the Eddyville Corporation's parcel of property on Route 213 in Eddyville, adjacent to the Liberty Marina. The owners of Eddyville Corporation were not happy with the town's policy and have instituted for several months now a lawsuit against the town of Ulster in New York State Supreme Court. This was previously authorized for counsel in New York City when they first brought the lawsuit. And we also had local counsel, Rebecca Maloris Lettery, handling the matter as she is the standing counsel for the building department. Recently, counsel for Eddyville Corporation indicated to us that they were going to call Ms. Lettery as a witness in the case, and therefore we had to seek additional counsel. In your package is an proposed engagement letter from Kyle Barnett at Vanderwater and Vanderwater for this specific matter. I want to remind you, Vanderwater currently handles tax certiorari matters for the town, so this is not the retention of a new firm. So may I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the engagement letter with Vanderwater and Vanderwater?
So moved.
Councilman Kitchen, motions. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Hayner, second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item in our package is one of those matters that Mr. Barnett successfully defended the town on. We were avoiding going to trial. It is a negotiated settlement, and there is a resolution authorizing a tax certiorari settlement with petitioners, RI, meaning Residence Inn of Kingston, Inc., and RI of Kingston, LP, property located 800 Frank Satile Boulevard in Kingston, New York. May I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Councilman Secreto and Councilman Kitchen seconds. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. As the members of the town board who have been around a long time know that in 2013, Ulster County Planning Department authorized a study on the Boyces Lane CSX railroad crossing. For the last 2 years, the town of Ulster has been dealing with New York State Department of Transportation Region 8 in Poughkeepsie and the railroad unit in Albany, New York. We have previously authorized the entering into a contract between the town of Ulster and the New York State Department of Transportation, whereby the town of Ulster would become the coordinator of what is called a local project. This coordination event required the town to go out to solicitation for a professional services firm to provide engineer, planning, design, and construction administration. So tonight there is a resolution in the package authorizing the supervisor to sign an engineering services agreement with Creighton Manning Engineering, LP of Albany, New York, as project engineer for the planning, design, and construction administration for PIN 8933.07, upgrade and coordination of existing signals, John Clark Drive and Morton Boulevard at the CSX crossing town of Ulster in the amount not to exceed $94,000, and the appropriation of $94,000 from the landfill closure capital reserve to advance fund the project until NISDOT reimbursement is received. May I have a motion on the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
I have Councilman Secreto, and I believe Councilman Kitchen is a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. The next item on our agenda is a motion to authorize the placement of the town's property and casualty insurance for the year 2022 with Travelers Insurance Company. Before I call for that motion, I wish to make the board aware, as you have all received communications from the agent who managed the HCC Houston Casualty program for the town admirably for 9 years. But unfortunately, the renewal quotation was $71,000 higher than the initial quote from Travelers Insurance. This matter is usually addressed at the second meeting in December, but as members of the board know, I was on a cruise ship in the Caribbean and unable to connect to that meeting, so we could not conduct that matter. Several items were called to our attention as to the potential differences between the policies previously obtained by the town and the policies proposed by Travelers. That communication was provided to Travelers, and I have received a written response from Travelers. I have distributed said response to the town board in the initial communication, leveling the questions, and the specific answers provided by Travelers have been distributed to the board, highlighted, underlined, and cross-referenced to the questions. Does anyone on the board wish me to go into details on explaining the differences in the programs?
No, I think I'm fine.
Hearing no request for an explanation, may I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to place the 2022 property and casualty insurance program with Travelers Insurance?
So moved.
Councilman Kitchen, may I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Van Cleek, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto, Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
yes,
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. And our last and final item, Mr. Berardi. I believe at the November meeting, effective December 1st, we hired for a 30-day temp position, Mr. Torres, with the understanding that we would hire him as a permanent full-time officer on January 1. Is that your understanding?
That is correct, sir.
So, gentlemen, Mr. Secreto is the chairman of the Personnel Committee.
Yes, I'll read it off. Employee's name is Jonathan J. Torres, full-time police officer. He'll be with the police department, comes out of the general fund. This will be full-time, civil service, competitive, union position, yes. Under the TBA contract, there'll be full coverage under health insurance. Be a step 2, wage $25.87. His start date, January 1st, 2022, comes on the recommendation from Chief Berardi, myself, and Clayton Binkley.
May I have a motion to make the hiring?
So moved.
Councilman Cleek. I have Councilman Kitchen for a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Van Cleek,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto,
Yes.
Councilman Kitchen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our scheduled agenda for tonight's workshop meeting. Our next scheduled meeting is the third Thursday in January, which is the 20th at 7 o'clock. I would ask for feedback from those attending the meeting on Facebook Live. Was the audio tonight acceptable? I know that from the interaction via Zoom, we've had a good audio connection, and it has taken us a while to get this together.
Mr. Supervisor, I have a comment, please.
Mr. Van Cleek.
Two things. One, I know we've had confusion and all. The sound is great, but we have not yet been able to say hello to Anna Hayner and congratulations for joining the board and welcome. So just want to thank you and welcome you to the board. And to you're now a councilwoman and part of the team. So we look forward to working with you. Second thing, a good friend of the town for many, many years, Richard Dick Boyce passed away just after Christmas. His funeral was yesterday. And I just wanted to recognize the role he played in the town and recognition to his family and sympathy to his family.
Richard Boyce was a longtime businessman in the community of the town of Ulster, as well as a dedicated civil servant as he sat on the town board for many, many years. I believe his obituary said 12 years, but I thought the records of the town showed 20 years. You heard 14. So Ms. Reevy, if you could investigate and give us an accurate timeline of his public service so we can so honor it, I'd appreciate it. As to Ms. Hayner, normally at the organization meeting, we have a public swearing in of new town board members. Because of COVID and the non-public participation in our meeting tonight in public, we are going to delay her public ceremony of swearing in to the first meeting when the public can attend, and I'm hoping that is the first meeting in February. Any other comments from the member of the board?
I had a call from one of the drivers from UPS coming home late at night in the dark on 9W, which would be approximately from where they exit UPS drives. Way going towards Kingston is a dark area. Quite a few people walking from Ulster Gardens on the road.
We can't hear him on Zoom.
Speak into the microphone.
Getting the possibility of a light.
So we have a request for street lights.
Yes.
On the section of Eastchester Street between
from UPS to Speedway going towards where the highway department is. That's why I didn't turn it on. But that was from UPS drivers.
Okay, thank you. Take that and investigate it. Are there any other comments from town board members?
I've lost all sound.
Members of the public that are on this call that can contribute?
I have a question regarding the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Go ahead, Mr. Guerri.
I attended the 16th, the last meeting on the 16th. A principal content of that meeting was a public hearing for a project called Moe's Motor Cars. The public hearing at that meeting was adjourned to this meeting, probably because the applicant was not present at the public hearing. There was a concern about communication and public participation at the meeting. However, I don't see anything about that in the agenda for tonight's meeting, and obviously there has been no discussion regarding it. Can somebody enlighten me?
Subject to the outcome of the Town of Ulster Planning Board, if they refer it back to the town board to conclude the matter, we will bring the matter back on the 20th to conclude the public hearing.
Thank you.
Any additional comments from members on Zoom? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending tonight's meeting. We will see you all on January 20th. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank